Hello, my name is Kim Kanger and I wish to show you my new coming game, The Road to Cheren. This is a new take on my old game Road to Cheren, which was published a few years ago by Legion Games. But this is just not a reprint, it's a total new take, completely new systems, so I'm proud to show you. Now let's start with the map. What you see are some examples of towns, Kassala on the Anglo-Egyptian side and Tessenei on the Italian East African side. And you have small villages like Sabderat and Aikota. You can also see examples of setup hexes like H, J, R and so forth, where the regional units are set up and where also reinforcements may turn up. The red straight line is of course the border, and you also have the dry riverbed Gush. This was the dry period, so all rivers were completely tinder dry, but they have no impact whatsoever on the terrain in the game. You have also the road, you can see there, going from Sabderat, passing close by Tessenei and eastwards, and you have the dotted lines which are tracks. The white area is just flat terrain and the beige area is rough terrain. Now if we venture further south, we will come to the garrisons of Omager and Adremos. Takatse was actually the old border river between Ethiopia and Eritrea, also a dry riverbed of course. If we go back northwards and follow the track and the road, we will enter the two towns of Agordat and Barentu. Now Agordat, or actually Bisha, is the terminus point where the rail line that starts in Massawa on the Red Sea coast goes up to the plateau at where Asmara is. It continues northwards along the valley to Cheren and down to the big flat area where you have Agordat. So this is the rail line which both sides actually used. It was quite important for the Allies to move supplies after they've captured Agordat. Now if we follow the rail line eastwards and a bit further north, you'll come to the famous town of Cheren, which was where the famous battle took place. This is a plateau. I urge you to go to Google Earth and actually look up the area. You can see the brown areas are mountain and the more grayish areas are what I call alpine. What you can also detect are the numbers there. For example, 1390 meters above the sea, which Cheren is, and so forth. This is to give you a good idea of how the terrain develops. So if it goes upwards, downwards, and so forth. If you follow the line, if you come to Al-Teklesan, you have come to the high plateau of 2,250 meters. It gives you a good idea of how it looks like. So the alpine areas on either side of Al-Teklesan, for example, are very mountainous areas, but it goes downwards from Al-Teklesan to the flat areas to the west and also to the flat areas to the east when we come closer to the Red Sea. So it's like a large table with this mountainous, harsh terrain sides going up from both sides up to the quite flat area in the center. Now, if we follow the rail line further on, we'll come to the capital Asmara, which Italians were quite proud of. They called it Little Rome, and it still has a lot of beautiful buildings from the 1930s. You can also see the road and the rail line downhill towards the port of Massawa, Italy's largest Red Sea port. You can also see these black lines along the hex sides. These are meant to show the cliffs, the difficult terrain to cross the hex sides. And it clearly shows you the table feeling of this plateau. We venture further south and we are passing the area of Aresa, Areogri, Arekaye, and it becomes two roads which eventually enters Ethiopia. The dry river you can see is the old border river, And eventually you will come to Adigrat and Aduan, Aksum, which are famous Ethiopian towns, especially Aksum, where you have the old churches, and Adu, which was the old battle between Ethiopia and Italy in the late 19th century, which Italy lost. And you can also see there that the plateau has risen to 2,460 meters in Adigrat, and you have mountain tops close by which are over 3,000 meters high. Let me show you some of the plans that the Ally had. Now, for example, if we start in the original area around Kassala, it looked like this. You had two pincers, the northern route and the southern route, where basically 2 to 3 brigades in each pincer were meant to attack two areas of defense for Italy around Keru and around Barentu, before eventually the area around Agordat. Let's have a look at the units which were there. The setups are not fixed by any means. You can see on the units that they have a letter on them, and it only means that they're allowed to set up within one hex of the hex where you have the letter. So this is just an example that I've done just to show you what units that were present. If we take the southern route, it looks something like this, and we look further to the east. You have the garrisons around Agordat and Cheren. If we go down to the south, you have the garrisons of Omagher and Adiremos. You see the orange unit there to the right. These are Ethiopian Patriot. And the blue units are Free French units. Let me also show you reinforcements that will turn up at Kassala eventually. You can see that they not only have a letter, in this case K, they have a number in front of that. So that means in which game turn they will turn up. I will just zoom out slightly to show you what the plans were. There you have it. Thank you very much, and you can pre-order this game at Legion Wargames. Please do.